Should you spend an extra $9,000 on the Trailhunter? We'll find out in today's video. I'll include a link to the Large Miller Toyota & Murray's website in the description down below. They're providing us with both of these trucks. Also include a link to my car buying guide. Let's get into it. Powering the Trailhunter is a hybrid turbo 2.4 liter 4-cylinder that goes through an 8-speed automatic. Fuel economy is 22 around town, 24 on the highway, with power outputs being 323 horsepower and then 465 pound-feet of torque. Everything's same with the TRD off-road, except it has 3 horsepower more because it doesn't have a raised air intake. I'm trying to hit 500,000 subscribers before the end of the year. I'd really appreciate it if you'd help out with that. We're going to focus on the differences. So with the Trailhunter headlights, it says Trailhunter. The TRD off-road headlights just say Tacoma. The Trailhunter has bronze lettering. You have the Heritage Toyota logo and a light bar in the grille. The TRD off-road just has a silver Toyota logo there on the grille. The Trailhunter has rigid fog lights that are color changing. TRD off-road just has regular fog lights. The Trailhunter has red recovery points, tons of underbody protection, and really aggressive approach angle. The TRD off-road has an air dam from the factory that runs the approach angle, and the bumper is just not cut out the same as the Trailhunter. I mean, look at the Trailhunter bumper again, just to give you guys an idea. Anyways, you do have some underbody protection, not as heavy duty though. So far, the Trailhunter has a bit more off-road kit. Tire and wheel setup on the Trailhunter is 265 by 70 by 18. The TRD off-road has the same size tire and wheel setup, but we do have different tires, so we've got a different tread pattern on both of the trucks. The Trailhunter has upgraded upper control arms, whereas the TRD off-road just has the normal ones. The Trailhunter has these standard rock rails, nothing on the TRD off-road. And then you'll notice the Trailhunter has much wider fender flares. The fenders themselves, though, are the same size. The Trailhunter has Old Man Emu shocks. The TRD off-road has Bilstein. Here's your side profile with the Trailhunter, definitely an aggressive off-road appearance. And then here's the TRD off-road. I mean, it still looks pretty beefy for a truck, just not the same. Trailhunter has lights on the side of the bed. It also has this bed rack, as well as a built-in air compressor. And this one actually has the liner, so the bed is nice and sticky. And the TRD off-road does not have any of that equipment that I just mentioned. Trailhunter gets this upgraded bumper and upgraded rear recovery points. The TRD off-road just has the normal body painted bumper, nothing crazy. And you'll note the exhaust tip on the TRD off-road hangs pretty low, whereas if you look underneath the Trailhunter, they've tucked everything up. When it comes to the exterior, the Trailhunter definitely has more of an off-road focus compared to the TRD off-road. Payload on the TRD off-road is 1,200 pounds. The Trailhunter has 1,215. But something to note, the TRD off-road actually weighs about 100 pounds less than the Trailhunter. You do have some soft touch, but also lots of plastic with the TRD off-road. This one does have the premium package, so it has the upgraded seats. Note, we've got 3 auxiliary switches. Then when it comes to off-road tech, you can get a stabilizer bar disconnect as optional equipment, but it's not standard. The rear locking differential, multi-terrain select crawl control is all standard. You can get a sunroof in a TRD off-road. You cannot get a sunroof in a Trailhunter. Door panel of the Trailhunter has more nice trim than what you have on the TRD off-road, and the coloration for the seats is a little bit different as well. You get 1 extra auxiliary switch at 4, and again, you've got those color changing fog lights and a light bar, so you got the buttons for that. And then this comes with a stabilizer bar as standard, and then the rear locking differential, multi-terrain select, all of that. All the screen features here, and then all the luxury features like the dual zone climate, heated and ventilated seats, all that's the same with the trucks. Now that TRD off-road has equipped stickers for about 56,000. That Trailhunter has equipped stickers for about 65,000. Let's find out which one performs the best. Trailhunter. Short bed. And I do think that's kind of interesting that, and maybe it's just a Utah thing, or this part of Utah where people are like, I gotta have the long bed. And that is one thing that's cool about the Trailhunter, is the fact that you can get it with the longer bed, so you've got more space. Wouldn't be a deal breaker for me, honestly. I mean, the longer bed's cool, but what I would kind of have, you know, the conversation I have with myself would be like, well, I got the shorter bed, so I've got better angles off-road, which means it'll be easier on trails, versus the longer bed, bigger vehicle, it's going to be harder to maneuver through trails. I mean, if you get the long bed, it's basically like the size of a full-size pickup truck. Now you can hear the raised air intake even with the window rolled up. It's not bad. A lot of people complain about it. I don't think it's bad. With the window rolled down, it's obviously very loud. You guys will hear that in a moment. These seats are comfortable. They're really comfortable. I think that's a big plus. And they've got cooled function, which we'll turn on because it's a little bit of a warmer day today. So I do think they've done a good job with, I mean, there's a lot of plastic in the interior, but you know, a lot of the major touch points have soft touch on them. So the places where you're going to want it to be soft touch, they are soft touch, which I think is a big benefit to this. Man, every single, I'm like getting to the point where we're not gonna be able to review cars anymore because of how much traffic there is. Where are all these hooligans coming from? This is crazy, guys. This is crazy. Okay, this person's turning. I could see, like, if it was that loud all the time, I could see how someone would get upset with the noise. But it's not. Again, if you roll up the window, it's not nearly, and I'll do the window up in just a moment. I think it's a nice sound. Again, if I had to hear that all day, every single day, that at that volume, I'd get annoyed. But this, it's kind of like a distant, like you hear it, not obnoxious at all. And if you're at highway speeds, you're gonna have so much noise from the tires and from the wind, you're probably not gonna be able to hear the raised air intake anymore. Actually, I remember I had one of these for a week. And yeah, once you're at higher speeds, it's still kind of there, but it's not really noticeable. And again, after driving one of these for a week, I was not annoyed with the raised air intake. So, no problem. The biggest downside is it does slightly decrease horsepower. It's not a huge amount. Again, it's like 3 horsepower, but it is something to take into account. On road, the Tacomas all kind of drive the same. The Raptor, or not the Raptor, I always call it the Raptor because it kind of is the Raptor Tacoma. The TRD Pro drives more Raptor-like. It kind of has a unique feel, but this feels pretty similar to the other Tacomas in terms of the on-road driving experience. Off-road, it's going to be a little bit different. But on-road, it just feels like a body-on-frame truck, really. You go over the bumps and you can kind of feel the solid axle doing its thing, and you can feel things going through the frame, and it's normal kind of truck experience. Not bad, not bad. So the Trailhunter it's cool that it at least exists, and until Toyota gets rid of the silly seats in the TRD Pro, if you want the top dog off-roader that's actually practical in the back seat area, then this is the one that you're gonna have to go for the time being. Or maybe just Toyota's gonna keep doing those seats forever, and so that'll just be how things will be, which I could see that happening too. But I think enough people are complaining about the TRD Pro seats that they'll probably change it. So anyways, that's the Trailhunter. TRD off-road back-to-back with the Trailhunter. Now, there is obviously going to be a difference in off-road capability. The Trailhunter is going to be more capable off-road, right? Better angles, stuff is tucked up more, so that means that you're going to be able to get through more difficult trails. And the stabilizer bar disconnect means that you're going to have more articulation than what you have with the TRD off-road. And I took a Trailhunter off-road, and like I said, it was phenomenal. That thing is very capable. So I think the real question is, does the Trailhunter drive any different on-road? Does it drive any better on-road compared to the TRD off-road? Because it's a huge price difference, and if you're going to be just doing the occasional off-road trip and you're going to off-road all the time, then the TRD off-road can save you quite a bit of money over the Trailhunter. So I'll say right off the bat, this actually feels like a smaller vehicle in a way. You've got a wider setup on the Trailhunter with those bigger fender flares, and you do feel the extra kind of width when you drive. So that's noticeable. The suspension on this is not as comfortable. The Trailhunter definitely is more comfortable with the suspension. It's not a big enough difference for me to say that, oh, you gotta go Trailhunter, but it's noticeable. I can't perceive the extra 3 horsepower, but I can perceive the lack of sound. This doesn't have the raised air intake like the Trailhunter, so you don't have the cool turbo sound like what you have with the Trailhunter, so that's a substantial difference as well. I will say though, the ride, yeah, it's a bit busier. I think it's a good way to put it. I think this is the first time I've been able to test out short bed, Trailhunter and TRD off-road. And now that I can, yeah, get both of them back to back, yeah, the TRD off-road is not as comfortable. And that is going to transfer off-road. That means that over the rocks and everything off-road, this is going to be a bumpier ride. So, man, this GoPro does not want to stay up. So that is something to take into account. But the power is just as good. You know what's funny though is if you have a louder car, it almost feels faster, right? Because it sounds faster. So the Trailhunter, although is technically slower because it weighs more and has 3 less horsepower, I think this feels like almost slower because it's quieter. But it's a nice ride overall. Yeah, this feels more truck-like. It's kind of more back and forth bumpy, whereas the Trailhunter is kind of not quite, again, it's not as good as the TRD Pro Tacoma, but it's more on that Raptor style where it kind of soaks everything up in the suspension a little bit better. Which, again, if you're going to actually do some off-roading and you're going to be on a dirt road for, it's got rocks and everything on it and bumps for 60 miles, I do that all the time in the desert here in Utah, that's going to be a better rig. That's going to be more comfortable over the trek. So limited code TRD Off-Roader Trailhunter. I think that the Trailhunter does have some benefits to it, mostly for off-roading. This is good enough on-road that no complaint. And if you're really worried about on-road ride quality, just get the Limited, because that has really comfortable, and you can just put smaller wheels if you don't like the bigger wheels in Limited. But yeah, just get a Limited Tacoma with those fancy dampers, and that will, sorry, I want to make sure, I forgot. I'm reaching up here because my Toyota has the camera button up there. Anyways, yeah, with those fancy dampers, that'll be a little bit better for on-road ride quality and comfort as well. So that's my 2 cents. I personally, because I've been off-roading, would go Trailhunter, but I could see you saving up, you know, going for the TRD off-road to save yourself a bunch of money. But just understand, you are getting, it's less money, so you're going to get less truck. It's the truth.